You were not born to bow. You were not made to hide. You were built to rise. When the world pushes you down, when life cracks its whip, when silence grows heavy and your soul begins to question its worth, remember this. Within you burns a fire that no storm can extinguish, a will that no failure can break, a spirit forged not in comfort, but in pressure, in pain, in fire. The ancient world knew what we have forgotten. Strength does not arrive. It is summoned, and it is summoned in your darkest hour. Marcus Aurelius didn't become great on the throne of an empire. He became great in his mind. In the moments no one saw, when sickness struck, when war surrounded him, when betrayal sank its teeth into him, he held his ground, not by force, but by choice, by philosophy, by reason, by discipline. He wrote to himself, not to inspire others, but to remain awake. And now we read his words in awe because they remind us of something we are starving to remember. You are not a victim. You are not fragile. You are not here to pass time. You are here to rise, not once, not twice, but every day, through every blow, through every loss, through every lie the world whispers into your ear that says, you can't. Because here is the truth. They can take your comfort, your money, your status, but they cannot take your mind unless you hand it to them. They cannot conquer your soul unless you surrender. So don't. Start where you are. Stand like a warrior who has nothing left to prove, only something left to give. Let them doubt you. Let them talk. Let them laugh. Because that laughter will fade when your results speak. That doubt will vanish when your actions echo. And that darkness will run when you learn how to see with the eyes of a Stoic. Not eyes that avoid pain, but eyes that see through it. Not eyes that chase comfort, but ones that welcome the flame. The kind of flame that purifies, not destroys. The kind of fire that reveals who you are by burning away who you are not. You were built to rise, not because it's easy, because it's necessary. The ones who win in this life are not the most talented. They are the ones who persist, who take hits and keep stepping forward, who fall 7 times and rise 8, who understand that resilience is not a trait. It is a daily choice. You want power? Then claim it in the morning, before the world wakes up. Don't wait for motivation. Build a fortress of discipline. Own your hours. Dominate your habits. Make the first battle of the day a victory over yourself. Because if you can win the inner war, no enemy outside can touch you. Marcus wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." You're waiting for the path to clear. You're waiting for things to get easier. But the obstacle is the path. The pain is the lesson. The resistance is the signal. So stop waiting for life to make room for you. Make room for yourself. Push, press, rise. You think Edison didn't fail? He burned through 10,000 failures before a single light bulb lit the world. You think Lincoln wasn't broken? He buried his love, lost election after election, and still rose to free millions. You think Carnegie was handed wealth? No. He read by firelight after exhausting days in factories, building his mind brick by brick. And you? You have more than they did. You have time. You have breath. You have today. And that's enough. The future belongs to those who seize the present like a sword, who cut through distraction, excuses, and doubt with relentless purpose. You were built to rise. Not when it's convenient, not when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Because pressure reveals the real ones. Pressure carves out kings from the clay. Pressure separates the fleeting from the eternal. The average man sees failure and stops. The warrior sees failure and begins. The world says slow down. The great ones speed up. The world says protect your pride. The great ones throw pride to the wolves and sharpen their humility into steel. Clarity is not a gift. It is the reward for discipline. It is what you earn after walking through fire, after falling and standing again, after silence and reflection, after days of doing what most people only talk about. And once clarity is yours, vision becomes unstoppable. You begin to see not just what you want, but what must be done. You stop wishing. You start commanding. You stop hoping. You start creating. Not from arrogance, but from alignment. From knowing that what you desire is possible. Not because the world says so, but because you are willing to do what it takes. Your mind is a weapon. Sharpen it with silence. Your time is gold. Guard it with fire. Your energy is sacred. Spend it with purpose. There is no success without sacrifice. There is no elevation without discipline. You want the mountain. Then embrace the climb. Welcome the fatigue. Learn to love the resistance because it means you're getting stronger. You were not made to shrink for the approval of cowards. You were not made to dim your fire for the comfort of the crowd. You were made to stand. You were made to suffer well. You were made to lead. You were made to rise. And rise you shall, if you remember who you are. The moment you remember, the moment you stop seeking answers outside yourself and begin to listen within, you become dangerous, not to others, but to limitation, to fear, to the chains that have kept your potential in prison. Because no man rises by chance. He rises by will, by fire, by a vow to never again betray the greatness inside him for the convenience outside him. This is your calling, to silence the noise and hear your soul speak. It does not whisper comfort. It does not beg for ease. It roars, rise. And when you begin to rise, something changes. The world doesn't get easier. But your perception sharpens, your tolerance for distraction vanishes, your appetite for growth explodes. You stop being entertained by the petty and you start being obsessed with the meaningful because now you've tasted it. The clarity, the strength, the power of a day owned by purpose. Most drift through life like ships without sails, hoping the winds of fate push them somewhere good. But the ones who rise, the ones who shape history, they grab the wheel. They cut through storms. They steer with principle. And even when the sea rages, they stay their course. That's you now. Your compass is your why. Your rudder is your discipline. Your sail is your belief. But belief alone is not enough. Belief is the spark. Action is the flame. So move. Don't think about it. Don't negotiate with weakness. Move. Do the thing. Make the call. Write the plan. Take the steps. Discipline isn't punishment. It's self-respect. It's the ultimate act of self-love. You don't rise by loving the outcome. You rise by loving the process. And it will hurt. It's supposed to. Growth demands discomfort. Change demands pain. But nothing hurts more than regret. Nothing burns like the thought of what could have been. So choose pain now or live with it forever. Choose to sweat today so you don't bleed tomorrow. Choose to rise before the world wakes because your destiny can't afford to sleep in. And when the resistance hits, as it always does, remember this. You are not your emotions. You are not your doubts. You are not your past. You are your next step. You are your next breath. You are the one who gets up when everything says stay down. The Stoics didn't seek fame. They didn't chase applause. They trained for death, not morbidly, but to remind themselves how precious time is. So what are you doing with yours? How many more days will you waste scrolling, wishing, waiting? How many more mornings will you hand to fear? How many more years will you blame circumstance instead of forging your character? You want power. Then take full responsibility. No more stories, no more excuses. Own it, all of it. The pain, the past, the present, the future. Own the mess so you can own the masterpiece. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Let that echo in your bones. You are not here to be blown by the winds of emotion. You are here to anchor in truth. You are not here to avoid storms. You are here to command the ship. You are not here to survive the day. You are here to seize it. There is no one coming to save you, no cavalry, no magic. But look in the mirror. The hero's already there. The same blood that built empires runs through your veins. The same breath that carried Lincoln through war, Edison through failure, Mandela through prison. It lives in you. And the only thing separating you from them is decision. Decision to stop being entertained by mediocrity. Decision to stop playing small. Decision to answer the call of your own soul and to do it relentlessly. You were built to rise. So rise from the habits that numb you. Rise from the distractions that steal your fire. Rise from the mediocrity that disguises itself as good enough. Rise every morning like the world is waiting on your greatness, because it is. Rise every night with a mind sharpened by action and a heart full of discipline. Rise even when you're tired, especially when you're tired. Because tired is a test. Pain is a test. And you were made to pass them all. You are not like the rest. You are not meant to settle. You are meant to lead. You are meant to push. You are meant to endure. You are meant to rise. And you will. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you reclaim a piece of yourself. Every time you choose progress over comfort, you plant a flag in your own soul. And every time you choose to rise, not once, not twice, but repeatedly, you become untouchable. Because the man who chooses to suffer for what he believes in can never be controlled. He's not addicted to applause. He's not chained to the outcome. He is devoted to the process, forged by it, obsessed with it, elevated through it. That's the man who becomes legend. Not because he was perfect, but because he refused to be average. There are two kinds of pain in this life. The pain of discipline and the pain of regret. One is heavy now. The other is unbearable forever. One sharpens you, the other breaks you. So ask yourself, which will you carry? You think Marcus Aurelius wanted the crown? He didn't ask for it. He didn't seek it. But when Rome called, he answered. And he didn't rule with luxury. He ruled with integrity. He faced plague, war, betrayal, and personal agony. And in every moment, he returned to his mind, to reason, to virtue. And what was his constant reminder? You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Memento mori. Remember death, not to fear it, but to sharpen your presence. To remember that this moment is all you ever truly have, and wasting it is the greatest tragedy of all. So rise while you still can. While your lungs still fill, while your hands still build, because one day you won't. And on that day, you'll either face death with peace because you lived fully, or with regret because you waited too long. This is not rehearsal. This is the show. And yes, life will test you. It will break your plans. It will send storms on days you expected sun. It will cut people out of your life without warning. It will hurt, but good. Pain wakes you up. Loss reveals what truly matters. Discomfort forces your evolution. The Stoics didn't believe in avoiding hardship. They believed in transforming through it. So do not ask for lighter burdens, ask for stronger shoulders. You get stronger not when life gets easier, but when you get harder to break. And you do that by choosing to rise even when you have every excuse not to. Wake up when the bed seduces you. Work when the mind tells you to wait. Push when your muscles beg you to stop. Choose the harder path, not because it looks noble, but because it makes you noble. Because every hard thing you do that others refuse to do, that's your edge. That's your advantage. That's your throne. You want confidence? Earn it. Not by lying to yourself, but by doing the thing you said you'd do. By showing up day after day, even when no one claps, even when no one watches. That's how confidence is built, brick by brick in silence, by keeping your own word. You want peace? Build it. Not by avoiding chaos, but by becoming calm within it. Peace is not the absence of noise, it's the presence of inner strength. You want greatness? Embody it. Don't just speak like a king. Live like one. Train like one. Think like one. Decide like one. Because here's the truth most won't tell you. Nobody is coming to remind you what you're capable of. Nobody will hand you your potential on a silver platter. It is up to you to claim it. By doing what average people won't. By rising when it's raining. By moving forward when no one else does, by holding the line when your body shakes, your mind doubts, and your heart wants to quit. That's when it counts. That's when it matters most. Not when it's easy. Not when the sun shines, but when you're alone. When the voices in your head whisper, maybe you're not enough. That's when you remind them, I was built for this. I was born for this. I will rise, because that is who I am. You were built to rise, not for comfort, but for contribution, not to fit in, but to stand out, not to exist, but to become. The world is full of noise, but greatness speaks in action, and yours will echo for generations. If you dare to step into it now, no more waiting, no more wishing, no more watching others live the life you want. Rise, rise. Not as you were, but as who you're becoming. Because every second that passes is a chance to change. Every breath is a new beginning. Every choice is a declaration of identity. You're not who you were yesterday. That version of you, gone. You are becoming always. The question is, who are you becoming toward? Toward weakness or toward strength? Toward fear or toward courage? Toward distraction or toward destiny? And you know the answer. You felt it burning in your chest, in the still moments, in the restless nights. That fire that won't leave you alone. That whisper that says, there's more in you. Wake up. You were not meant to rot in routine. No, you were meant to rise like a storm, like a lion, like a man who knows this life is not a game. Understand this now. Greatness is not inherited. It is forged. It is built in quiet hours, in early mornings, in lonely decisions. And you don't need permission. You don't need applause. You don't need ideal conditions. You need one thing: decisive action. Discipline is not a trait. It is a decision you make every moment, to rise when it's raining, to push when your muscles tremble, to persist when the world shrugs at your effort. And it is in those moments that the universe listens, not to your prayers, to your pattern. Because you don't get what you want, you get what you are, and you are the sum of your repeated choices. So look at your day, look at your habits, look at how you speak to yourself in silence. Is it worthy of the man you say you want to be? You can't lie to your future. You can't trick your destiny. It only answers to work, to grit, to self-mastery, to the kind of resilience that refuses to bend no matter how hard the wind blows. And yes, you will fall. But falling isn't failure. Staying down is. Self-pity is. Blame is. But not you. Not anymore. You rise because that's what you do now. You rise because your past doesn't dictate your future. Your pattern does. And if you can change that, you can change everything. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait for ideal circumstances. He created order inside himself in the midst of chaos. He ruled not with control, but with calm, not with ego, but with wisdom, not with pride, but with principle. And he trained himself daily to remember, if it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. That's power. That's truth. That's the voice that silences all excuses. So when hardship hits, don't flinch. Stand tall. Let your spine become steel. Let your mind become still, because nothing is stronger than the man who refuses to be broken. And that's you now. That's the version of you the world has been waiting for. The version who doesn't perform. He embodies. The version who doesn't panic. He plans. The version who doesn't get swayed by emotion. He acts on purpose. And that version is built, not found. He's carved through 10,000 choices. He's hammered into existence through adversity. He's shaped by pressure. Like diamonds, like kings, like legends. So stop looking for the shortcut. There is no shortcut, only the long road, the worthy road, the road that most avoid and you now embrace, because it is in that walk that you become unrecognizable to your past, to your fears, to the world that once doubted you. And when they see you again, they won't understand what happened. Let them wonder, let them watch, but you stay in motion. Because this is what it means to rise, to become obsessed with truth, to devote yourself to mastery, to fall in love with effort, with silence, with repetition. You don't need to feel like doing it. You need to do it until it becomes who you are, like water that cuts through stone, like steel that slices through weakness, like a storm that cannot be stopped because it wasn't designed to be. You were built to rise in your biology, in your history, in your DNA. The bloodline of warriors runs through you. The spirit of philosophers whispers in your mind, and the breath of the divine flows through your lungs. So act like it. Act like this life was a gift. Act like your pain has purpose. Act like your time is sacred. Act like you are the one who decides how this ends, because you are. There is no fate. There is no luck. There is only will. And will is a muscle. Train it. Use it. Honor it. And when the world asks you who you are, you answer not with words, but with presence, with results, with the energy of a man who stared into the fire of adversity and walked out transformed. That's who you are now. Not a talker, a doer, not a victim, a warrior, not just alive, but awake. So rise again and again and again, until the word limit no longer exists in your vocabulary, until fear is something you walk beside, not run from, until the man you were is unrecognizable to the man you've become. You were built to rise. So rise without apology, rise without permission, rise because this is your time, and no one, no fear, no doubt, no failure can stop you unless you stop yourself. Don't. Keep rising.